In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about what actually matters in your business and what's an actual goal or focus, and then what's a distraction. Because there's a lot of things that look like it's productive or that's a good sign of growth, but in reality, like it doesn't have much impact in your overall business or your overall goals that you want to achieve, right? Because if we focus our time on the wrong things, then, let it be 6 months, a year, and, you keep on going down this one path and you keep on thinking this is the right thing and this is a sign of success and this is a sign of growth. And then you look back and you actually audit everything and you're like, oh, a lot of this makes no sense. And a lot of this is just a fugazi. So there's nothing in particular in terms of there's no specific order. We're going to cover a few things that I wrote down and then we'll go from there. And if you want more in depth, if you actually want to focus on the proper things in your business, which is more on the marketing, sales, admin, and operations, check out Detailers Growth Academy down below, where I teach you all the systems and things that we do in our business when it comes to optimizing your Google business profile. If you want to optimize your website, if you want to create your own website, if you want to understand the numbers, you want to get better at sales, everything that we do here in terms of generating hundreds of leads per month, running meta ads, sending out quotes, booking $300 jobs or $8,000 jobs, all of that is inside of Detailers Growth Academy. So check that down below. So again, these aren't in no particular order. I'm just kind of going as I wrote them down. Is one, working on luxury vehicles or high-end vehicles. Now, if that's something that you would like to do out of a preference, fantastic. No issue there. You can totally do that. If you think there's a correlation between high-end vehicles and making more money, that is where you are making a mistake, because there is no correlation to saying, hey, I'm working on high-end vehicles, so that means I'm making more money. Not in the slightest of it. It's the same thing of saying, oh, well, this is a $2,000 job, so we're making money, right? No, not at all. And these are just vanity metrics, right? Like you saying, hey, we're working on luxury vehicles now, that's a vanity metric because there's no truth to it, right? Like, you can still make no money working on luxury vehicles if you have a Porsche and a Lamborghini Urus and you have a Porsche GT3 and you have a BMW M4 Evo, whatever they're called. Like, none of that matters because the car you're, and guys, like, I don't know if you guys don't know this or not, but there are plenty of owners that have $100,000 plus vehicles that don't care about keeping their car in perfect condition. There's owners out there that take their $150,000 sports car or whatever vehicle, whatever site, and they take it to a local car wash. Like, don't get it mixed up thinking just because they have a nice car that they automatically are gonna spend however much money on their vehicle. Like, we've worked on vehicles that are, more high end, and you can tell, like, the owners don't care. Like, they're not there saying, hey, like, make sure there's not one scratch. Like, no, like, they're there. They grab a towel. Hey, I've been trying to scratch this off and it's not coming off. And like, not every exotic car owner is going to be like, hey, by default, like, I'm willing to spend $2,000 on my car because it's an exotic car and I have it. Like, that's not true in the slightest bit. So don't think like, oh, exotic car or high-end vehicle correlates it. They're going to spend more on this car. Not at all, right? And on that same note, a everyday vehicle, call it whatever you want, a Corolla, a Tacoma, a Lexus, whatever, a Honda, whatever. Just because it's an everyday vehicle, it doesn't mean they're not going to spend top dollar on whatever services that they want, right, for their vehicle. So it's like, there's no correlation. Like, you're going to have cheap customers that have very expensive vehicles, and then you're going to have very premium customers that have average vehicles. And I hate saying the word average because, like, realistically, that doesn't have an input to the services that you're doing, right? Like, of course, like, if you're doing PPF and you're trying to do like full body front end, any level of PPF, yes, like, the newer the vehicle, the higher chance of you booking in that job, because naturally, like, if it's a 7-year-old vehicle, more likely than not, the whole front bumper is already pitted. So like, or there's already dings all over the car. So there's not much you can do there unless they're going to repaint the vehicle. And after they repaint it, they want the full body PPF. Okay. In that regard, yes. But the newer the vehicle, the better, because like it's still fresh and new, and like you can protect it before it gets dinged. Whereas like if it's a 10-year-old vehicle, like it's kind of done for already, right? So obviously there's going to be services that yield to certain services. But like for instance, on window tint, getting a full ceramic window tint plus windshield plus eyebrow or whatever, it could be a 20-year-old vehicle. They're still going to pay a premium price because it doesn't matter the vehicle that it is, whether it's a 2026 or a 2006. What they want with that service is, I don't want my car, I don't want to feel super hot in my vehicle, so I want ceramic window tint, right? So there's going to be a lot of services that like it's irrespective of what vehicle it is. So don't think like, again, what's more important than the car that you're working on is the type of customer that you have, right? Because let's say you have someone that has a 2006 Corolla, right? And they're saying, "Oh man, like again, going back to the window tint, like I really just want to protect my interior or whatever, right? Hey, it's gonna be $600, right? For the top of the line ceramic. Okay, great, I'll pay for it. You don't care that it's not, like if they're paying top quality, they're paying top dollar for the most premium ceramic film that you offer, and they're gonna go for that. Like, oh, this is a great customer, right? Like this is the kind of customer that you want. Whereas you're gonna have customers that have these high-end vehicles, and they're gonna ask for discounts. They're gonna be like, oh, like, is there any way that you can get that price a little lower? Hey, can you add this? Can you add that? It's gonna be the same thing on both sides. But what you don't want to do is say, oh, well, my business is more successful because we're working on high-end vehicles. I don't know much numbers of car washes that like I don't know car wash owners. I don't see their P&L. I don't see their numbers. I can guarantee you most car wash franchises or car wash lots probably make more money than most detailers that are high end and premium. And those car washes charge like $80 a car, right? I'm not saying I would do that kind of service or I would do that kind of business, or I'm just like speaking the facts of like, what is the goal that you're doing? Is your goal in your business to say, oh, look at my shop, all these high-end vehicles? Is that a metric of success for you? If it is, all power to you. I would highly suggest it's probably not a metric of success, right? Like that's probably not something that you want to gauge of like making money for my family, for myself, to paying off this debt. You know what? There's exotic cars in my shop, so I'm successful. Probably not, right? Because what's more important is like let's say you have whether let's say you have a 2006 Corolla, you have a 2026 Lamborghini Urus, right? Each one is getting full ceramic window tint, right? Each one is paying top dollar of like one's paying $1,200, one's paying $800, but this one's cheaper just because it's less windows, less complicated, whatever. What matters most on the 2006 Corolla and the 2026 what did I say, Urus? It's like, hey, what is our cost of goods on this one, right? How much are we spending on material? How long is it going to take us? We're going to have one tech, so and it's going to take us, 3 hours to install it. So each one we're hitting $120 an hour. Regardless of the vehicle, if all your other KPIs and metrics are in place and like you're hitting your targets, it doesn't matter the vehicle. Again, preference-wise, absolutely fine, right? Like that makes, like, for instance, like we don't want to do disaster details every single day. So we're not going to run ads on saying, hey, is your interior super dirty? Do you want us to restore it? Come on in and we'll do a disaster. Like we don't want disaster details. So we're not going to run disaster details, right? Now, that being said, if let's say we were to run meta ads for disaster details and we specifically want us to get absolutely hammered interior cars, if you're charging accordingly, if you understand your budgeted hours, if you track your man hours, if you understand the targets, and you're hitting $120 an hour, granted, I won't, like, it's not a preference to do disaster details, but if we do it and all your numbers are being hit, you're still, it's still a very profitable job. So you see how the car itself and really the service itself isn't as big of a deal as do you have all your numbers aligned? Now, don't get me wrong, like, we don't want to do disaster details. We don't want to do interior. Like that's not something that we're trying to get more of, right? So like we wouldn't be happy having a fully booked out schedule with interior details, or we wouldn't be happy having a fully booked out schedule with disaster details, or we wouldn't be happy having a fully booked out schedule with headlight restoration, right? Like so there is a preference point to it. Don't get me wrong. Like there are things that you prefer or that you like more because like it is your business. But don't get it convoluted with saying like I want these kind of cars or this kind of service. Because again, like yes, you have your preference, but if that service is not profitable, but like, oh, but it's a full PPF job. Yeah, but if you're not tracking everything, you don't understand the actual true numbers of what you're doing, you're still not making money. You're still going to have a hard time like growing the business or paying your tax or doing all these things. So don't let like the vehicle itself be an issue. Because again, like, if like naturally, yes, like you want to make sure you're targeting the right demographics, right? So like let's say you started like a lawn care business, right? Naturally, if you go to the houses that are 700,000 and up in value, they're probably gonna have more income to spend, just to pay $50 a week to get their lawn. I'm making up an example, but $50 a week to get their lawn cut, right? Just making up an example. Whereas, if you go somewhere else where the houses are 250 and below, they probably aren't going to be susceptible to paying $50 a week to get their lawn cut, right? So yes, there is an obvious difference in the type of demographics that you target. But again, like taking that same example, there's probably a lot of car owners with exotic cars or high-end vehicles that also have a daily driver that it's a 2019 Ford F-150, right? And it's my daily, but they probably still want to they still take care of it, or they still want like, hey, I still want ceramic window tint, or yeah, it's still like a coating on this one. So like again, like don't get so stuck in saying like, oh, this car means more success, or this type of car means like it really doesn't if you don't have all your other back end numbers making sense in there. So that's one thing for sure. Number two is like having a shop. Having a shop in itself is no metric of success. It doesn't and I always say this, if your business is struggling right now as a mobile detailer, it's only going to struggle more when you get a shop. So don't think that the shop for some reason is like, oh, this is going to help me perform better, or like this is going to help me take my business to the next level. There's a lot of benefits to having a shop, especially when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization, and your Google business profile, and you're actually able to pin an address on your GBP. That makes a very big difference versus having a service business, service area business. That for sure is distinctly, objectively different and far superior than not having an address. That being said, if you don't have a proper website, if it's not fully optimized, if you don't know how to optimize your Google business profile, if you aren't already marketing well to generate leads, having that one little feature because you get a shop is not going to make a difference in your business. And you're only going to hurt more because now you have a fixed expense of however much you're spending per month on the rent, plus AC, plus Wi-Fi, plus water, plus power, plus all this. So like, yes, you get this one little benefit, but like if you don't have everything else set and ready to go, you're not gonna have a fun time because it's just gonna hurt you. So don't rush to get a shop. You don't need to get a shop. Like you have to make the shop you have to be, as a mobile detailer, you have to be fully profitable. Like don't think, oh, once I get a shop, that's where I become more that's where I fix my profitability. Like no, you need to be profitable now alone in the van doing that specific work, and that's it. Like don't think like, oh, once I get the shop, like, oh, there it goes. Like that's when things get better. That's when after that, then I can go do this, or I can go do that. Like no, absolutely not. It's not gonna work like that. So don't think like having a shop in itself is any kind of metric of like, oh, there we go. Now I'm able to do better. Like no, it's not gonna work out. So don't think by any means like, don't rush at all to go get a shop. Like and think about it like this way. Like a lot of people want a shop. Like a lot of people want shops, right? So like, think about it like this. Let's say I don't know your area. Let's say the shop itself is $1,500 a month, and then plus power, plus Wi-Fi. Let's say you're spending $1,700, right? And that's just not outfitting the shop itself, right? But let's say $1,700 a month, right? Well, imagine, what if you just started spending $1,700 a month right now in your mobile detailing business and don't think about getting a shop? You can spend $1,000 a month on ads. You can go and invest in a few more tools. And remember, per month, right? So spend $1,000 a month on ads, spend $500 on getting new tools. Then next month, you spend another $1,000 on ads, and you spend another $500 on new tools or whatever. And then as the ads start to ramp up, then you go from 1,000 to to 1,500, and you're able to increase and scale your business like that. And again, like before you go get a shop, like apply that same mindset of like, well, I was already, I'm going to spend $1,700 a month in the shop. Well, spend that right now and see the results instantly on ads, right? So that's something super important because, like, again, what is a focus and what is a distraction, right? And doing something like that, like adding a new service, adding a shop, is just a distraction, right? The same thing can be said with adding more mobile units, right? Before you go and say, oh, well, I need another mobile unit, have you fully capitalized your van or truck right now, right? Because, like, again, a lot of what detailers want to do, it is with good intention, like growing. But on that same note, a big part of that is also ego, because it just looks better. It feels better. It feels cooler, right? You get more praise. Say, hey, we have 2 vans now. We have 2 trucks now. We have 3 techs now, right? So before you go say, oh, well, we need a new van, like, have you fully capitalized and maximized this one truck to really get every bit of revenue out of it? Because what you don't want is, like, you're so inefficient and you have no infrastructure built up that, like, one van with one tech is making $7,000, $8,000 a month. And you're like, okay, in order for us to get to 25,000, we need 3 techs and 3 vans. And it's like, okay, well, like, maybe that's the math you have right now, but, like, okay, well, can we get that one van, one truck to get to 10,000 to 12,000? And how do we do that? Can we do that by being better at sales, by increasing our pricing, by increasing our efficiency to decrease the amount of time we take on jobs so we can add more jobs to the schedule? Like, is that doing more upsells when we're on the job? And that means we have to train our techs to be able to upsell. That's a far better problem to solve than simply saying, oh, well, we're at 8,000 with one tech and one van, so I need 3 more to get to 25,000, right? Because then the issue that comes once you start when you have that mentality, you add more expenses to your business, and it's not offset by the revenue, by the increased revenue and profits. Because if you're saying, hey, like, one van, one tech makes 8,000, and, like, you think, like, oh, that's the formula I have right now, right? And then as you add that second and third van, then you start to actually compound and see, oh, wait, like, hey, like, we added, I'm just making up numbers here. We have $1,500 in car notes now, plus, $600 in commercial auto insurance, plus we're spending, whatever in gas. So, like, hey, we're at, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 a month in, like, total van expenditure, right? And it's like, but, like, man, the revenue that we're generating, like, it's like our numbers are only getting tighter and tighter, even though we are increasing revenue because there's more vans, and even though we are able to book more jobs because, like, there is more asset capacity, but, like, the actual profit margin in itself is shrinking and shrinking more and more because, like, the very numbers from the one van, one tech wasn't making sense to begin with. So now when you compound that over 2, 3, 4 vans over however long, then it's like, then that's when you truly see, like, oh, like, what the heck, like, we're growing and adding, and there's, more jobs and more revenue and more everything. But, like, why are we, like, not able to spend as much and there's not as much left over in the bank account? It's like, well, because from the very get-go, that one van, one tech, it wasn't profitable. Like, the margin wasn't there, right? So things like that is, like, what can really creep up on you. And again, the distraction is saying, oh, well, more vans and growth, and I can post that on social media and people can praise me and people think I'm so good, right? But the reality, the focus is like, hey, like, how much can we really capitalize on this one van and tech, or this one van and team of 2, right? Like, how can we really get the absolute most out of this? And because, again, it's going to be easier to make that decision before you go get 2, 3 other vans, right? So that is also another big distraction versus focus. And kind of think about it in anything that you do, right? Like, with a lot of things that you do, is it really a opportunity or is it just a distraction, right? Like, if, the most common thing is going to be window tint PPF, right? They're fantastic services. Again, like, we've done $8,000, $10,000, $6,000, $4,000 PPF jobs, right? Fantastic ticket prices. Is it the right time and place for you to offer that service? And because, like, what a lot of people do, not that it's wrong, this is just what happens. The owner, the solo owner and operator, they'll go out and learn PPF or window tint, let's say. And then they do that for a few years, and then they'll go out again and learn the next service. So the one person, the owner, knows the detailing, paint correction, ceramic coating, and then they pick up window tint and PPF. So this one owner knows all 5 services and does everything himself or herself, right? Again, PPF, window tint, fantastic services. Margins are great, high ticket items, right? That being said, if you're the sole owner and operator and you're the only one doing it, like, does it really help to know what's it? Window tint, PPF, paint correction, ceramic coating, detailing. Okay, we can really call that 3, but let's say 5 because let's just call it 3: detailing, window tint, PPF, right? Or correction coatings, window tint, PPF. Let's just call it 3 for simplicity's sake. So you're essentially running 3 businesses in one. So for you as a solo owner operator, does it make sense to basically run 3 businesses on your, like, as one person? Because now, like, you have to market 3 separate services altogether, and the pricing is different. The process is different. The timeline is different. The type of customer is different. So does it make sense to go and offer that service and pick up that skill and take so many years or take a year to really master and learn it? Or do you say, hey, do I just focus on this one thing? And not that you can't add more services. I'm saying at the time and place of where your business is at, does it make sense to add that new service? Like if you're at 50,000 a year, right? And you're saying, oh, well, I want to increase my revenue. So like, I'm going to go learn PPF. It's like, get the detailing part to like 100,000 at least per year, and then go think about PPF, right? And again, like if midway through the year, you're like, no, I think PPF is a better business, I'm going to go into that. Okay, sure, that's fair. Like, because it is. That being said, though, you don't want to go and add PPF because you're like, oh, well, my business is already slowing down, so I'm going to tack on this new service and I'm going to do both, right? Because then that's more of a distraction. Because more likely than not, you haven't fully capitalized on detailing in itself, right? And again, I'm being very generalistic here because like the market matters. Like, are you in an area with 500,000, with 5 million, or with 5,000 people? Like that's a pretty big difference in market size, right? So there's going to be a lot of variables. So you have to adjust this to fit your area and such. But like, you don't want to do it too early and like supplement it because like your business is going down, not down, but like it's like stagnant, and think like, well, I can add another 50,000 doing PPF, and then I can add another 50,000 adding window tint. So between detailing, window tint, and PPF, I'm doing 150,000 a year. It's like you can look at it that way, or that means each department is only making 50,000, right? And if you focus on any of these 100% of the time instead of doing all 3, one of those departments could do 150,000 per year. But you're spreading yourself out so thin between 3 that you have you're like. And what the issue with that too is like you become the bottleneck because now you think you're the only one that can do everything, right? Like I can't window tint, I can't PPF. We have window tint and PPF jobs all the time, right? So there's gonna be like there's gonna be certain things that you simply can't do. Because then if you are the detailer, you are the window tinter, you are the PPF installer, then who's the marketer and the salesperson? Oh, you are. So now you're the salesperson that picks up every call and books every job. You're the person that runs the ads and does all the marketing. You're the person that installs the window. You're the person that does the PPF installation. And you're the one that does the ceramic coating. All those roles are important. Like it's very difficult for one person to do all of that. I mean, you shouldn't. That's just too much. That's just far too much. And again, it starts with saying like, I'm only making 50,000 detailing. Let me go learn window tint because I can add another 50,000, right? It is an opportunity because window tint, the margins are better than detailing. So it is an opportunity, but it's the way that you strategize over that choice of it. Does it become an opportunity or a distraction, right? So like these are all a bunch of little things that you have to really like look at to see like, is this a distraction or is this an opportunity? Is this really going to help fuel my business and growth, or is it more of an ego play, right? Because there are a lot of things that you can do that will look productive, that will increase your revenue, that will book you in more jobs, that will make you feel like your business is actually growing. And a lot of those things will actually end up being distractions and take you away from the key focus of being profitable. And that's really what matters at the end of the day. Like, how profitable are we? Whether you're adding 1 service or 3 services, whether you have 1 tech or 3 tech, whether you have 1 van or 4 vans, whether you have 1 van in a shop or 2 vans in 2 shops, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like, is this helping us be far more profitable? This is the last one I'll cover. Revenue. The reason why I never talk about revenue, like I never share our numbers, because I am absolutely so tired of seeing everyone talk about, hey, this month we made 62,000. I helped this detailer get to 50,000. This detailer went from 0 to 20,000. Revenue does not matter at all. Because if you make 20,000 and it took you 19,000 to produce that, then you are not making any money and you'll be out of business in 6 months. If you produce $65,000 in revenue in 1 month and it took you $55,000 to deliver that service, it does not matter what you're like. That's why anyone who talks about revenue or shows that as a number of a metric of success, it's like me saying like, oh, hey, we made this month we serviced 47 jobs. This month we did 47 jobs, or this month we did 65 jobs. Like, okay, and what does that mean? Like, there's no context behind that number. So simply saying, hey, we made $37,000 a month. What does that mean? Did you like? It's like if you tell me, hey, our business makes $800,000 a year, and I have 15 techs. It's like, you have 15 techs to make $800,000 a year, right? So like, even like someone would want to float the number of like, oh, we make 800,000, and then they say like, oh, we have 15 tech. It's like, that means each tech is like, oh, what is that? Let me do the math real quick. What did I say, 15? That means each tech is bringing in $53,000 a year, right? So like, that's why the revenue in itself is such a lie. Like it's such like, it's not like, that's why I never talk about our, because I don't want to be in that group of like misleading or like, because it's so easy to say like, hey, this month we made 50,000, right? And then like, it's so easy to float that carrot in front of everyone's face. And like a lot of people online, not just in the detailing industry, a lot of influencers, gurus, coaches are absolutely either one, lying, or two, misleading to sell some high ticket coach or course or program, which is why they get so stuck on this is how much revenue we made. Grand scheme of things, revenue does not matter. What's better, $1 million business or a $500,000 business? Most people are going to be like, oh, the 1 million because it's $1 million, right? Let's say the $1 million business operates at a 5% profit margin, whereas the $500,000 business operates at a 25% profit margin. Which one is actually better? The one that's half the size, because it has quadruple, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, it has quintuple the profits with, less than half the staff, with half the operational cost, and you take home more money with less stress, right? Like, which one do you think is actually better? Right? That's why the revenue in itself, like, it does not. That's why I don't talk about it. I don't mention it. It doesn't, like, I don't talk about today we made $1,200 and because though. And again, like I'll share the pricing on job just like so you know the context of like what we're charging, but I don't use it as a metric of like, oh, look how successful I am, and this job was $4,000, so like, look, I'm so good, right? Because the revenue in itself does not matter. That's why like when I talk about a PPF job, it's like, hey, this job is 7,000, 1,300 of this is material, so we're actually only working with $5,800 of revenue. So if we want to make $110 an hour on this job, we technically have I already lost my head. 52 hours to work on this. So that's like, so without having the full context of a number, it's made up. Like there's nothing behind that number. And again, it's a distraction of like, oh, well, this detailer is making 55,000 a month, and that's where I want to get. Well, if you don't have the full context of that number, and you say, oh, well, he has 4 vans and he has 6 techs, so that's the metric to get to 55,000. But if you don't have all the context behind those numbers, that's just a distraction, because he's also probably doing bad and not profitable and like doesn't have good cash flow, and the numbers aren't making sense. But he wants to float. They have the ego, and they want to talk about, we have this van, we have the shop, and we're making this. But grand scheme of things, the margins just keep on getting squeezed more and more and more, right? And like, this is just the reality. Like, this is the reality of a business. Like, I'm not pointing anyone out. This is just simply like, this is why it's so important to like be focused on what you're specifically doing and make sure whatever you're consuming or whatever you're doing is aligned to your goals. Like, you don't want to get distracted by saying, well, this person was able to go and make this much money with this service, so I need to go do that. It probably is a good service. Again, PPF, 110, fantastic services. Very high, good margins. I wish we'd have started earlier. But if you don't have that, the entire strategy put together, it's just a distraction. That is the important part. So I'll end it right there. Again, if you want to actually focus on growing your business and you want to focus on the business side of detailing, so you want to learn how to do marketing, sales, admin, operations, check that out down below in Detailers Growth Academy. You get all that. You get access to all the trainings for one monthly price. And I continue to add more and more trainings every single month. So if you want to focus on getting customers, selling customers, upselling, whatever, there's a bunch of content inside the academy. I'll talk to you on the next one.